Brace yourself for 35 Nevada facts that will shatter the Las Vegas stereotype and reveal the wildest state you barely know. Here are the 10 that will change how you see Nevada right now, and we are counting down to the most explosive truth at number 1. Number 10. Nevada is the most mountainous state nobody thinks of as mountainous. More than 300 named ranges rise and fall like waves across the Great Basin, with 42 summits over 10,000 feet. The Ruby Mountains throw up knife-edged ridgelines and hanging glacial bowls. The Snake Range lifts Wheeler Peak to a thin-air skyline beside groves of bristlecone pines older than empires. On the other side of the map, the Sierra Nevada shoulders spill their last snowmelt into high desert basins, while lonely peaks like Boundary Peak touch the clouds on the border with California. Those north-south ridges and flat valleys are the fingerprint of a continent stretched apart. The basin and range is geology in motion, crust being pulled like taffy, blocks tilting, basins dropping, ranges rising. You can stand on a ridge in the Toyabe Range and look across a topographic barcode of parallel mountains and valleys fading into haze. Why it matters. The real Nevada is a vertical world built by tectonic forces, not a flat strip of neon. If you only picture casinos, you are missing the roofline of an entire state, and the alpine lakes, wildflower meadows, and snow-capped horizons that come with it. Number 9. The Great Basin is America's largest closed water system. Most of Nevada sits inside an endorheic basin where rivers do not reach the ocean. Water flows to playas, evaporates, and leaves behind white mineral flats that gleam like snow under summer sun. The ghost of Ice Age Lake Lahontan still clings to the state in the form of ancient beaches etched into mountainsides, wave-cut terraces halfway up the hills, and in blue remnant lakes like Pyramid and Walker. At Pyramid Lake, tufa towers loom like ruined castles, built by minerals precipitating in the shallows of a deeper, colder past. In the Black Rock Desert, a dry lake bed stretches so flat that dust devils look like wandering sentries, and distant cars float like mirages. Every basin tells a water story in salt rings, shorelines, and cracked mud. Why it matters. Water is destiny here. In a closed bowl, every drop is a decision. Diverted, stored, evaporated, and that decision has shaped everything that came after. From where towns rose to which lakes withered, to what crops could be coaxed out of alkali soil. Number 8. Las Vegas runs on water that was promised in a very different century. The city gets almost all of its supply from the Colorado River, based on 1920s allocations set during an unusually wet period that made the river look richer than it really is. For decades, Lake Mead's blue expanse seemed infinite. Then drought and warming temperatures traced a white bathtub ring on the canyon walls and pulled the waterline below old intake openings, exposing old risks and old mistakes. Las Vegas didn't shrug. It built a third intake, the third straw, deep beneath Lake Mead and a low lake pumping station to keep water flowing even if the reservoir sinks further. It banned useless turf, paid residents to tear out lawns, and engineered a rare water math. Most indoor water is treated, returned to the lake, and credited back to the city's account. Per-person use fell dramatically, even as neighborhoods kept blooming across the Mojave. Why it matters. Vegas is a bet on a river 300 miles away, and climate pressure means the stakes rise every year. The city's survival strategy, conserve hard, engineer harder, is a preview of how desert metros will navigate the century ahead. Number 7. America tested nuclear weapons in plain sight of the Strip. From the early 1950s through the early 1990s, the Nevada test site hosted 928 detonations. The early shots were atmospheric, mushroom clouds that tourists watched from hotel windows at dawn. Later, bombs went underground, carving chambers in the desert and shaking dishes in kitchens from Beatty to St. George. Downwind communities lived with the fallout, literal and bureaucratic. You can still stand on the rim of Sedan Crater, thrown open by a 1962 test that blasted a bowl nearly a quarter-mile across, and feel how a national policy leaves a physical scar. Just south, the company town of Mercury once hummed with scientists and steelworkers, a secret city hiding in the sagebrush. Why it matters. Nevada is where the United States proved its most powerful weapons and where the fine print of national security hit real people. It's a chapter that complicates the myth of empty desert. The strangest fact is still coming. Number 6. Hoover Dam turned the desert into a power plant and a reservoir the size of a small sea. Finished in 1936, it rose 726 feet out of Black Canyon, thick as a fortress at the base and slim as a blade at the crest, laced with Art Deco flourishes and eagle statues that make concrete feel ceremonial. High scalers dangled from ropes, drilling and blasting in summer heat that fried eggs on girders. By the time the river was harnessed, the dam had poured enough concrete to pave a highway from San Francisco to New York. By the time the river was harnessed, the dam had poured enough concrete to pave a highway from San Francisco to New York. It created Lake Mead, the nation's largest reservoir at the time, and electrified the growth of the Southwest. Its turbines turned the Colorado's force into light for Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, while the dam's shadow threw a different kind of future across the Mojave. Why it matters. Without this dam, modern Las Vegas and much of the region would be a very different story. Hoover is not just engineering. It is the keystone of a 20th century bargain with a desert, a wager that concrete and coordination could conjure a metropolis. Number 5. The Comstock Lode made Nevada a state in the middle of the Civil War. In 1859, a tangle of blue clay above Virginia City turned out to be the richest silver strike in North America. The rush was instant. Miners learned to hold up maze-like stopes with square-set timbering. The Comstock's wealth bankrolled railroads and underwrote San Francisco's rise. In 1864, as the Union fought to hold together, Nevada was rushed into statehood, battle-born, bringing its mineral wealth and a loyal vote to Washington. Why it matters. Nevada was born from ore, and its first boom built the financial and political muscle that shaped the entire West. The pattern, find, extract, build, bust echoes in every modern mining claim from lithium flats to gold pits. Number 4. Area 51 is real, secret, and stranger than the myths. Groom Lake is a dry, chalk-white playa ringed by mountains, perfect for long runways and longer secrets. Here, the U-2 spy plane learned to touch the sky. The A-12 Ox Cart, a titanium arrow that would lead to the SR-71 Blackbird, flew blacker than midnight. Early stealth aircraft slinked over this basin before anyone had a word for stealth. Workers commute from Las Vegas on unmarked Janet flights. Spotters hike to distant ridgelines like Tickaboo Peak to glimpse hangars through heat shimmer. The truth is more staggering than any rumor. Why it matters. Nevada's emptiness and restricted airspace let the country hide its sharpest tools in plain sight. That's why the stories never stop. The landscape is a stage built for secrets. Number 3. Nevada is a land of ghost towns that outnumber the living ones. More than 600 abandoned camps and cities dot the desert. Rhyolites' crumbling bank and bottle house glow rose at sunset, an art project built into a dead boomtown. Goldfield's Grand Hotel sits like a paused opera. Belmont's brick courthouse remembers trials held in a room heated by a single stove. In Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park, a mining camp shares a hillside with fossils of giant marine reptiles. In drought years, the drowned town of St. Thomas rises from Lake Mead like a dream you can walk through. Foundations, doorsteps, the bones of a place that thought it would last. Why it matters. The boom and bust DNA is still here, from gold to geothermal to modern battery minerals. It teaches humility and the wisdom to build communities that can ride the next turn of the wheel. Number 2. Two roads tell the real story better than any skyline. US 50, the loneliest road in America, runs like a taut string across central Nevada. Fallon's irrigated green fades to sage, then the road climbs to the ripple of passes. You crest a summit and see the next range. South of there, Nevada State Route 375, the Extraterrestrial Highway, skirts the edge of the Nellis Test and Training Range. A sign with a cartoon saucer marks the route. The Little Alien in Rachel serves burgers under framed UFO headlines. And a dusty turnout called the Black Mailbox draws believers and photographers. The road slices through valleys so empty that jets practicing beyond the fence sound like thunder you can't place. Why it matters. Drive them and you meet the Nevada beyond the billboards. Solitude that resets your thoughts, secrecy that hums just over the horizon, and a scale that reframes your place on the map. Number 1. Nevada is the place America built to hold what it does not want to talk about. Gambling made legal in 1931. Quick divorces that required a 6-week residency, giving Reno a reputation as the place to end what couldn't be ended elsewhere. Legal brothels in rural counties with rules as tight as a casino's books. Nuclear tests that lit the dawn. Black budget programs that shaped the future of war in the quietest corners of the range. Not because Nevadans love vice or mystery, but because a dry, isolated state needed industries that could thrive without water or farmland, and because the rest of the country preferred its temptations and its testing grounds at arm's length. Even when the nation looked for a permanent nuclear waste repository, all eyes turned here, to a ridge called Yucca Mountain, and Nevadans pushed back, reminding the country that nowhere is always somebody's home. Again and again, the desert became a place where America tried to tuck away the complicated parts of itself, and again, the desert refused to be invisible. Why it matters. Nevada is a mirror. It shows what the country does when it wants distance from consequences, and it does it with a desert pragmatism that is brutally honest. So the next time someone says Nevada is just Las Vegas, you can smile. Because the real story is mountains that saw glaciers, water that never leaves, power carved from canyon walls, secrets written on empty runways, and a final truth that says more about America than any neon sign ever could. Which fact shocked you most? Subscribe now to never miss unbelievable facts.